What's going on, everybody? Welcome on into another Let's Talk Sports Show Sunday morning chat with the boys here. My name's Tanner Dawson of the Sports Buffoons, and Let's Talk Sports, of course. Guys, what a what a night. What's some news that came around? We had the UFC 291 going on. We had the boxing match going on. There was some breaking, MLB trade deadline news that popped in as well. About time we hear something. And then some Ursade sipping on that whiskey or rum, something like that, pretty heavily, going at it, talking on his Twitter. So I can't wait to talk with the guys about this. We got quite the great show. Whit should be joining us later as well. We'll get his thoughts as well on the fights. But yeah, I mean, we're what? Today's the 30th, so one more day, guys, and then Tuesday night is the first night of fantasy football after dark. That's right. It's going to be me out there doing mock drafts and best ball drafts and fantasy drafts for the month of August. Always after 9 p.m. After our show, most likely on everything else. So, it's going to be awesome for every night. So make sure you guys tune in there. More info to post there on my Twitter at lts.tanner. So anyways, let's get some of these guys in here so we get some talking here. Let's bring in the guy who likes to bet around. I'm curious how he did. I listened to Whit on a few stuff. He didn't help me out on any of my bets, and then one got canceled. So let's bring him in, Mr. Scott Cobb. Scott, what's up, dude?
What's up, Tan? How you doing?
I'm good, man. What a eventful evening it was last night.
It sure was. I know Alan's been popping champagne corks almost because he got Max Scherzer, but it was a huge night last night for news.
I got more for that as well, by the way, to come into play. I mean, I got a rant for this whole issue there in the Mets organization. So I can't wait to get into that a little more.
Yeah, and then Jonathan Grishman's been saying all along that the Mets organization has been the worst organization running baseball this year, based on what they did and stuff like that. So, and I believe them 100%. They have been awful. It's like Scherzer wanted to have a meeting, and the front office was like, "Nope, we're gonna trade you. See you later, buddy. We don't want to talk to you. You can go to Texas." So,
right, and it's insane. It's nuts. I can't wait. We'll get into it a lot more with the guys here. Let's bring in the next best one here of this group here. I think Mr. Johnny. Johnny,
what's going on, man? I appreciate that intro there. I'll take second best. Even though what did Bobby say from Talladega Nights? If you ain't first, you last.
That's right.
I'll take it though. But it was a fun night of sports. That Crawford, that Crawford fight was wild. I wasn't expecting a dominant performance like that. That was a lot of fun. The UFC was a lot of fun. And shout out to Allen. I know they got Max Scherzer. Hopefully he doesn't perform the way he has lately for the Mets, because that hasn't exactly been great. But you're talking about one of the greatest pitchers of all time. So, and you want him to perform in the playoffs, and I think that he will step up. But part of the what you were talking about with the Mets, this has to go down as one of the worst, seasons ever. I mean, talk about the highest payroll ever, and you're basically having to sell off pieces before,
right?
What are they? Like 8 games back, and they're like 6 or 7 games under 500. I mean, talk about a total.
I got a rant
shit show of a season for them, bro.
I got 3 teams to rant about in this, just based off this trade alone.
I'm looking forward to hearing it, but don't get too excited, Alan. Like I said, good luck to you, but hopefully he does perform. Hopefully he does perform, and like I say, he's a big time pitcher, so we'll see what happens, but that definitely helps their chances out.
Johnny, as a fan of the team or a player on the team, what do you want to see management do? You want to see them make moves to help you to solidify that management is in it with you. And the Texas Rangers have done that this trade deadline. They've solidified to the players that, hey, we're in this with you. We want to win with you. So, let's go for it.
I think that was a great. That's a great move for Texas. I mean, even just going and getting the Chapman, just doing anything. I mean, they told you Yeah, they told they told their team, hey, we're gonna try to take advantage of this this season we're having. I'm all for that, man. I mean, you never know what's gonna happen in the playoffs, man. And if you have an opportunity to get in there and make something happen, then I think you go all in. I know people, we had this plan, a 5-year plan or whatever. You know what I'm saying? If your team is ahead of schedule or whatever, and you have an opportunity, go for it because you never know. You don't know what's going to happen next year after.
You even have an apology to make. Like this is such a big rant. I got apologies in there. Like it's insane. Like I can't wait.
I'm about to say we might want to bring on the next person. Yeah, you can go ahead and get that out of your system, bro.
Let's bring on our main host, heading to the best team in the AL of MLB today. Gets to watch a pretty epic matchup with the Twins as he visits Kaufman there. Nick Hawkins. He's going.
He didn't want to show up.
Yeah, he's in the valley someplace.
There we go. It was perfect timing too. I love it. Sam won't be making it. He has some stuff going on. Thinking of your buddy. That's for sure. He'll be back tomorrow, hopefully, and we'll keep things rolling there. All right. Well, while Nick decides to try to show up, let's talk about it here. Right. I want to get into it. Max Scherzer. From the New York Mets, traded to the Texas Rangers. Mets will pay 38, I believe it is, of the 52 as well for the rest of the season. The Texas Rangers getting another arm they needed in the bullpen. Obviously, their offense is fine. And getting an arm in the bullpen. They made great offseason moves as well to get guys. They got DeGrom. It didn't work out because of just a freak injury there. So, but I mean, you went out and got another Met, and it should work out for him, who's pitching at a very high level this year. Scott, give me a little bit about Scherzer here. What do we think? What are we liking about him this year so far? And what do you project going through the rest of the season?
So Scherzer's that guy that can get you. Oh, wait a minute, here he is.
There he is.
Scherzer's that guy that can get you 6 or 7 innings anytime he goes out with 10 strikeouts. He's the solidifying and calming influence on the Texas rotation because Eovaldi has been struggling lately. So his gas tank is on E right now, basically. And then you got question marks with Heaney, with Martin Perez, and with Dane Dunning. So what Scherzer does is basically once every 5 days gives you that number one stud at the top of the rotation that can get you, like I said, 7 innings, 10 Ks, and stuff like that. That's what I like about it. What I don't like about it is he's over 40 years old. He's had a recent injury history that suggests that down the stretch of seasons, he hasn't performed to the level that we know Max Scherzer can perform to. So to me, getting him is a great sign for the Rangers, but I'm a little bit nervous that his 40-year-old body is going to give out at some point here down the stretch. He's had neck injuries. He's had a myriad of other little nagging injuries that have cropped up. So to me, Texas has got to kind of, 6 innings and then that's it, and then go to the bullpen. So, you just need that number one starter because once you get in the playoff series, you need that bedrock guy that it's absolutely that you can go to and say, okay, here's our number one. Go beat him.
They got number one now, and they also have the back end, your closer now with Chapman. Like you got your 2 pieces. Now you can just figure out how do you want to maneuver your middle guys between everybody else. And it's massive. It is massive. All right, Nick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you ready? Are you excited to go see the best team in baseball, dude?
I watched that last night. I watched that on Friday night when the Cubs beat the Cards, baby.
With that Rava home run, walk off, and then a walk off.
I turned to my buddy Craig when it hit off the bat. I said, "Oh fuck, here it is again. The 3rd time in a row I've watched the Cubs live losing off a walk off." And then when he caught it, it was like when we won the World Series all over again. I was like, he caught it. Like, I mean, it was insane. It was a heck of a catch. Everybody in the stadium thought it was a home run. And then when he caught it, I couldn't believe it. I want to chime in on that Scherzer trade. I get why the Rangers did it. The Mets got to eat a lot of money. So it's smart for the Rangers. Who knows how good this Acuna kid is? That's a question we'll have to ask Jonathan on Monday night, tomorrow night. But man, like Scott just listed, why all the questions about Max Scherzer. Like, we've been bashing the Mets for having 2 40-year-old pitchers, and you look at Scherzer's numbers, they haven't been great. It's first time he's going back to the American League, I think, since the Tiger days, so it's been a while. Yep. But, it seems that it hasn't been working out for him. I mean, his ERA is over 4. So how much of a bona fide starter, number one guy is he? But they had to make a move. He was available. They don't have to pay him all the money. And he's not just a rental, right? Like, he opted into his contract already to 2024. So there's that. So they got him next year, and then he'll kind of replace till DeGrom comes back. But we'll see, because I'm just not all in on Max Scherzer. He's 40, ERA of 4, and there's a lot of innings and a lot of miles on that body.
Alex,
and here's the point.
Top 5 infield prospect in his.
And here's the point that Nick just made. That's key. If DeGrom is healthy, this trade never happens. Never happens.
No.
So because DeGrom is out for the year, Texas felt like we got to go get that top line starter again.
Right. Let's come back to the Scherzer deal, because I got more. I got way more for it. Way more. Can't wait for it. Nick, I know you don't have a lot of time here because you're going to be going into nowhere, Missouri soon. What was your? I guess give me 2 fights last night, because I'm going to ask Whit as well for a couple fights as well. But what were 2 fights of your highlights last night that you thought was maybe a surprise or definitely like exactly how it was planned?
So the main event was a surprise. I went 4-1 on the main card on my pick. So I had Dustin Poirier in that first round. I thought that's kind of how the fight was going to go. It looked like Justin was just going to try to chop Dustin down. He was just hitting him with them leg kicks. But set up that kick to the head. And maybe Poirier didn't quite go into the shadow realm, but he damn near opened the door. And then they were like, he kind of woke up and was like, I don't want to walk into the shadow realm yet. But because he kind of popped up early. So, Justin Gaethje's that dude. It was just a nasty leg kick to the head. That was insane. I really thought Alex Pereira, man, I told you guys he was going to be a problem. Jan tried to wrestle him, and the defense really stopped. His defense on the ground really helped him out. And he proved, and he just kind of chopped it down. It was a close fight. I thought it was going to be a finish, but Jan really closed that distance, and then just had a goose egg, on the size of freaking Texas on his leg, where Alex was chopping his leg down. So
it looks like takedowns were 0 of 0 for Pereira on that one. Is that normal?
Yeah, Pierre's not trying to take people down. It was Jan trying to take him down.
Yeah, 3 out of 8.
It took him down in the first, but the defense of Pierre is, because he's been known not to be a wrestler at all, and have struggled there. And so there's that. I might lose you down here because but
as soon as he said it, he's gone.
I guess he's in nowhere, Missouri now.
In Missouri.
I guess he made it.
Yeah, Canada knows all those nowhere Missouri type of areas.
Kansas, Missouri. You get in the right area, you're not gonna be here anywhere.
I was shocked about the main event last night. How quickly that ended, how much that Gaethje took it to him. I thought that was going longer, and Gaethje just said, "Nope, we're not having it." Boom, out. See you later. Bye, buddy.
It was a beautiful kick, and it was perfectly set up where he faked the little jab, the right-handed jab, and it just came with a kick right after it. I wasn't expecting that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm going to ask.
It was fun
when he gets on, we'll ask him about Michael Pereira cancellation last minute, right? With being overweight, or he gained like 30 pounds after weigh-in. Like that's
wild.
He's got to start going to McDonald's having Big Macs.
We'll ask him about the boxing matchup with Crawford and that, as well, what his thoughts are. I know he watched that pretty closely in another fight there. But all right, Nick's back here.
Yeah, sorry. And then real quick, the interview of the night has to be Derek Lewis. Gets propped to the main card. This is a guy who's 265 pounds. He needed to win. He was on a 3-fight skid there. Throws a flying knee in the first 5 seconds. Like a lightweight, and then just the great interview. The pants taken off. It's known for the interview. His balls are hot. takes off his pants, throws the cup in the crowd, tells his wife he's going to come home busting guts. I mean, it's Derek Lewis is an incredible fighter, but he's also an incredible personality, and that's what keeps him around in the UFC. It was a fun night of fights. Nothing really quite surprised me. I told you Tony Ferguson was going to lose.
Yep.
That was kind of surprising, but that was it, boys. I'm going to hop off here because I'm getting in the middle of absolutely nowhere. So,
all right, well, have fun. Be safe.
All right, have fun, bro.
Royals win. You guys have a good rest of the show. I'll catch y'all later, boys.
All right, bro. Be safe.
All right. Well, we'll talk more. We'll get more UFC 291 recap in the boxing matchup of Crawford Spence and all that later on, guys, with Witt once he gets on. So keep tuned for that if you're interested in that. All right, guys, let's get back to it. Let's get back to the Scherzer deal. All right. I'm going to start my little rant here for a minute. Rangers. I don't know if you guys are aware. Royals kind of cleaned house in a way. Didn't get rid of all the right people yet, but we're getting there. But Dayton Moore and I believe one other guy went to the Texas Rangers this offseason. This is a guy in 2014 and 15 that traded out for Ben Zobrist. You also had the guy that pitched last night for, I don't remember which team, but now I can't remember his name. He rocks back and forth, and he gets the dreads. He played for the Reds. We got him from the Reds.
Johnny Cueto.
Johnny Cueto.
Cueto.
So we had Cueto. You had Shields sign on, right? I mean, he built this team through all season moves and the in season trades as well to make it competitive in 14 and 15 for the World Series each year. He leaves the Royals this offseason, gets fired. Sherman fires him, keeps JJ Piccolo for some goddamn reason, but whatever. And he goes to Texas Rangers, the Rangers team that wasn't very good this last year, right? The last couple of years, it hasn't been very good. That have been older guys and, guys just getting injured, and it just hasn't worked out for them. Horrible pitching. Well, they go out and make a move, right? Get Jason Grom. They got to make a couple other moves, some free agency, kind of build this offense up, get a little smarter coaching staff and everything. And now you see them back into contention leading this division with Dayton Moore. Dayton Moore goes out now. He makes a move for Chapman from his former team, the Kansas City Royals. And then he goes out and does this with Max Scherzer. This is where my apology comes in. Dayton, I'm sorry. I blamed you for the last, what has it been now? Almost 10 years, 9 years, 10 years almost. So of not be able to put together a winning team again. Found out that wasn't you. That is the ownership of the Royals not wanting to do anything just like they did the last 30 years. By the way, quick fact. Do you remember before 2014 when the Kansas City Royals made the last playoffs, the last playoff appearance?
Wasn't the George Brett days, was it?
Yeah.
Wow. 1980
Wow.
the last time, wasn't it?
1985. The last time
I was about to say, was it 85 or 86?
So
Wow.
84, 85. We made the World Series or playoffs in 84. We won the World Series in 85. There was not a playoff appearance until 2014.
Wow. Jeez.
Wow. Jeez.
And like you saw, but it was like they weren't the rest of the 80s. So 88, 86, 87, 88, 89. They all had winning records.
Yep.
Just one of them was in the 90s, but at that time though it wasn't that
no wild card.
Yeah,
there was
right?
no wild card.
Yeah,
There was no wild card. Yeah.
But as soon as you hit the 90s, you're back in it. You're back in the 30s, 40s, 50s wins, and it just like looking at it, I'm just like, no way. Like I expect, maybe I missed it because I was born 89. Like maybe I just, maybe we made it in 88 or something. No, we hadn't made a playoff since 85. From 85 2014, we weren't in a wild card. We weren't in a playoff. Nothing. So
Wow.
And so all right. So that was my apology to Dayton Moore, by the way, because I felt it was him. I felt it was him holding us back. He just wanted to keep his guys, wanted to keep, who he wanted, essentially. And turns out he wasn't able to make those moves. So again, now we're down to this path of the Royals, maybe going on another 30 years until we see a playoff appearance, and if it leads to the World Series, I guess so. But I don't want to be 63 by then. of when this happens. I'd like to see some, at least some kind of competitive advantage. But anyways, go back to what I'm saying. Dayton Moore, he knows how to put together a World Series team. He did that, he came in, I think he came in like 2010, started getting together prospects, got Milwaukee, Kane. Milwaukee got, brought in Ned Yost from there as well. A couple other guys. Essentially what led to this build of a 2014 World Series team.
Yeah.
Exactly what he's doing now in Texas, year one. The Texas owner, hey, we got a great new stadium, we built a few years ago. Let's put some butts in those seats and let's get a winning program going. And that's what Dayton Moore is doing right now. Meanwhile, the Royals are out here competing for possibly a record, like franchise record, but also almost record books losing season without Dayton Moore his first year, at possibly losing right now 116 games, which is putting them in the top 5. 1892 was the Cleveland. I can't remember the name. It was some weird name, but they lost 123 games. So that's the record. But this is how bad it is. And now the New York Mets, Dayton Moore breaking the New York Mets one more time, because he did that in 2015 when we beat them in the World Series. Harvey was never the same. The whole team pretty much dissipated, and then they sucked. Syndergaard never was the same after that squad. So Dayton Moore is, I think, the key of this whole deal. A guy that knows what he wants, knows how to do it, knows how to build. If you give him the right resources and the right permissions to be able to do stuff. This is my rant. I'm as a Royals fan, I'm kind of ticked about it, and as we go about this downtown stadium even more on this way, like this is upsetting to me as we continue about it. But that's my rant, guys.
I mean, you're in Kansas City, Tanner. So this new stadium, how long do you think it is before the fans just say after the new stadium's built, the product on the field is not as good, we're not going to the new stadium? Because the first year, they're going to sell it out every day, every game, because it's a new stadium. But after that,
yep.
And that you got to hope it's the whole season. You know what I'm saying? Because if they're total crap, then I mean maybe the first couple months will be sold out.
30 years without a freaking playoff appearance, right?
That's
in this organization. In this organization, you changed to owners right after the World Series because David Glass had a health issue, and ended up passing away a year or two after the 2015 World Series. But you were never competitive after 2015. You got rid of Hosmer, Moustakas, Gordon. Gordon ended up retiring 2 years later. Salvi was the only guy you retained. You never retained your guys, never kept your guys for 2 or 3 more years to see, hey, maybe we can at least make it a playoff appearance. No, it was like, hey, we're full, go in. Here's 2 years of it. All right, see you guys. We're not paying your butts anymore, and we'll go ahead and just trash this place. And now what they're doing with Kauffman, so he can get a stadium downtown, is the sound, like the sound levels aren't there. It looks messy. It's never this messy in Kauffman, and it's unfortunate that it's going this way. And it's all I think as a city right now, like, we can be a baseball city. We supported the Kansas City Royals and the Kansas City Chiefs on the same day during the playoffs for the Royals. We had a Chiefs game at noon. We filled that stadium, of course. And then that night was one of the wild card games, or not the wild card game. It was one of the playoff games. And we filled that whole stadium. We filled that whole stadium for the whole year. 2016 was almost kind of the same way, even though we weren't going to the playoffs. But it's now the same old. It's the issue, right?
Right. And I'll say this.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, John.
I mean, it's absolutely a baseball city, man. I mean, the Royals are, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm shocked by that stat there for the 30 years of no playoff appearances, but
no winning records from 1990 to 2013.
No winning. Jesus. All right, so there you go. For all you spoiled ass Yankee fans who want to bitch and moan, we haven't had a losing record in over 30 years now. So stop bitching, because it could be so much worse. But yeah, it goes to show that you never know if it's really the GM or if it's the owner that just doesn't want to spend money. Because you guys had some good young core that they could have locked up a few years earlier.
You could have locked up 3 or 4 guys. You have to get the whole.
That's what I'm saying, right? Yeah. So they got cheap, and I think they just signed Gordon and Salvi, and I think, like you mentioned, Gordon wound up retiring a couple years later. But yeah, I mean, if the owner don't want to put money into the team, you catch lightning in a bottle, like you said. The GM put some good pieces together, and you went on that run for those couple years. And it's similar to like what Miami did. They went on those, those couple of World Series runs in 96 or 97, and then 2003, and then completely dismantled the team right after winning those World Series. And it's just like, how do you expect the fan base to like show loyalty to your team when they know that this is what you're gonna do? So
the other thing is George Brett, Salvi Perez, lifelong Royals who've done everything for your organization for their whole career, and you treat them like this. You won World Series, and then George Brett's teams went down the hill at the end of his career. That's number one. Yeah. Number two, you now have a nucleus of young talent led by Bobby Witt Jr. That could be really, really good in about 3, 4, 5 years. And they're not going to do right by any of those guys. They're just going to say, "Hey, we're going to try to build a new stadium. If we do, great. We're going to get butts in the stands for a year. We're going to make all this money because of the new stadium. But after that, it's going to go right back downhill again, and it's going to be 15,000 at every. I feel bad for Nick. He's going to see the Royals and Twins play.
I don't know. I'm going to be real with you. I don't know if they actually put butts in the seats. Because right now at Kauffman, you can get tickets as low as $5, sometimes free for a lot of places that will just give it away. But if you put a new stadium in, those $5 tickets go up to 15 to 25 to 35, right? I mean you're not going to just send out tickets for $5, right? And so I don't necessarily know they get seats or the butts in the seats as soon as they want with a losing team like this. I'm still at the point where I wouldn't be surprised if he gets rejected, if the the county rejects it, taxpayers reject it, and we see the Royals go somewhere else. I wouldn't be surprised.
That would be a shame.
It would be a shame. For as much Kansas City history as we've had with these guys, the patience we've had with this franchise, let alone this owner since 2016, 17. And all he's done is, I don't blame the players, right? It's not the players' fault. You got to put what you got to go out and play anyways, but you're not putting a winning product on the field. You're not buying in. You're not getting these guys that, you're not going to spend money in the franchise. You're not showing like, hey, we can do something. And the most recent comment, I believe from JJ, was it was something about, I think it was trading Salvi, or no, it wasn't. It was talking about the trade deadline coming in to the media, and he goes, "Yeah, we're not sure which direction we want to go here yet." Like they have a chance for a wild card or something. Like in their minds, they don't want to sell for prospects or anything like that. They want to keep what they have because they're so comfortable, and you can't do that as a franchise. You can't if you're, what are we now, 25 wins? And you're going past the All-Star break and you're going to the trade deadline now, that's a move for you don't have the right pieces. It's time to sell. And you brought up all your pieces pretty much already. But JJ Piccolo, the team president or whatever you want to call him now, it's we don't know which direction we want to go yet as we enter Tuesday.
I mean, the history of
craziest statement.
The history of that organization, don't forget, Kauffman Stadium was an artificial turf field. And why was it? Because you had guys like Willie Wilson, Vince Coleman, in his end of his career. You had speed, where these guys would just hit the ball in the gap and they'd be on third base. You had George Brett, Frank White, Brett Saberhagen. You had all these guys for the Royals in the heyday. And now you're just basically saying to Perez and Witt, Greinke's past his prime. I get that.
Yeah.
You're basically saying, Prado, all these guys, Melendez, we're going to slap you in the face. These guys will never sign extensions in Kansas City.
No, why would you?
Right.
I don't know why Greinke returned because, he was like, oh, well, I'm comfortable where I'm at. He's a weird guy, right, though?
Yeah.
But we'll get into it a little bit as well, but it's similar to like a Colts right now, where it's like, why would you want to play for a guy that wants to move, who doesn't buy into your system? Why would you want to play for a management system of where it is? And I think that's where we're sitting at right now. It's these players don't think they can get opportunities elsewhere. I mean, we see, oh my Lord, I can't remember his freaking name. He plays for the Orioles now, and he goes out there and starts raking for the Orioles. O'Hearn. Yeah. And like he's in the starting lineup. Like I'm seeing this guy hit, like he was like in the top high twos. This is a guy that we cut because we wanted to give Prado, we want to give some other guys a chance. And I don't think it's their faults either. That it's not the players' faults. All right. They're just giving what they can do. It's the opportunities that we could be making trade wise, building this franchise, but we don't want to spend the money because we want a downtown stadium we're getting prepped for. And his, by the way, John Sherman's the owner. His comments were, well, if we get a downtown stadium, we'll be more likely to get players here.
No, you won't.
Come on, man. That's like how could they possibly believe that? You know what I mean? You're not showing any sign of that. That's
look at the Royals roster now, Johnny. Would Bobby Witt Jr. look great in the Yankee uniform? Absolutely.
He would look great anywhere, bro.
Would Salvador Perez look great in another uniform? Absolutely.
I was going to comment on Salvador because, I mean, he's loyal probably to a fault. And I understand them wanting to keep him, but I mean, they could have done him right and traded. If you saw that this is the direction you were going to go in,
I don't think we're done yet.
They could have traded him. But I mean, you could have actually gotten more for him if you would have traded him, 3-4 years ago when you gave him the last extension. But
they thought they had something though. And that's the issue. Is they think they have something when they don't have anything. Is the issue. But like Salvi, I'm still not sold. I'll wait till after Tuesday's deadline to say, in the end to see what happens with Salvi. But he's been playing first base the last few days. He never plays first base. If he's off, he's DHing or off. So I think there's more to it happening. I think there's more talks. And that's gonna be the interesting fact of it. But it's like we have to be in sell mode. Like you need those you need to go out and get prospects that you're not drafting, that you can't draft because your scouts aren't hitting at all now or whatever it is. I don't think we have horrible players. I just don't think we have the right pieces where they need to be. And I think the managerial staff, even though he's brand new, I think he's also making some, crazy decisions because he's like, what do I do? Like, what else do I do? Like we got to throw in what we can throw in.
This is how bad Minnesota is. First of all, to send a guy like Jordan Lyles to the mound every 5 days is criminal. Oh, Lord. It's criminal.
And we're going to sign him
beat the Twins yesterday. He just beat the Twins yesterday for his second win this year, and we're bordering his next start will be
16, 2-17.
Yeah. It's crazy. His ERA is so high up. When he goes to the mound, the Royals know they're going to lose the game. He's that bad right now. Whether he's got pictures of the manager doing whatever, but it's just you're 1-12 when you're sending this guy to the mound. I mean, come on, really?
And the players, the players are not having fun behind him either.
No.
You know what I mean?
You're losing game in, game out.
Yeah, man. It's like, your whole motivation. I mean, you're a ball player, so you're gonna go out there and play or whatever, but you have no confidence in your starter to give you any type of opportunity.
When you're celebrating a win after, you haven't won 3 games in a row all season long, by the way. 3 games in a row. A's have done that. We haven't done that. 3 games in a row. That's all you got to do to break that streak as well. And we haven't done that, and we're going to the trade deadline. So it's just, I don't know. It's just very unfortunate. It's like a franchise like ours where, it is pretty historic with the teams we've had, but to have this much of a gap in your, like, I just has to be competitive. Like, give me a chance. Like, hey, we're competing for that walk. I don't even need the division win. Give me competitive for a wild card spot in second place. That's all I want.
And Tanner, the thing is, it's not hard to be competitive for the wild card spot nowadays,
especially in that division.
It's not hard to be competitive for a while. Any team in baseball, but the Royals just say, you know what, we're just gonna throw these guys on the field.
Yeah. So
and again, in that division, especially,
that division
compete for second place. Compete for second place. But that was kind of my rant. I just want to say Dayton Moore is doing things in the Rangers world. it ended up now it's showing. I believe it's now showing more of the Royals side of things, the ownership of the wanting to spend the money, wanting to make the moves as they get ready for the downtown stadium. So props to the Rangers. I think you're on a good thing. I think honestly this actually puts you on that next level that you needed to get past the Astros officially. So we'll be talking about that more with Jonathan tomorrow night. Let's bring in another horrendous franchise at the moment. Indianapolis Colts, Jonathan Taylor, was looking for an extension, looking for, a little bit of money, a little bit of years. And Irsay was like, yeah, if you're not playing, nobody's going to miss you essentially. And like I don't know what he was on last night, man. He was had something going up his nose, but essentially Jonathan Taylor came out after that, said, hey, I request a trade. Irsay went on this rant, without, I guess, basically saying, yeah, nobody's going to miss you because you're not relevant, essentially, because you're a running back. And then he goes, yeah, you're not being traded. So good luck sitting at home. So Jonathan Taylor requests a trade. We'll have to see what happens there. Obviously, not a lot of movement in the running back world, with Zeke, Hunt still on the books, or still on the free agent line, Cook on the free agent line, Fournette. So there's guys out there, 4 guys that can even get jobs right now. Where are you going to send a young Jonathan Taylor who got hurt last year? So, Johnny, start us off, man.
It's insane. I mean, first of all, like you mentioned about the running backs, I mean, they're already underpaid and not given the love and respect that they probably should get. And I get it. I understand that you can get a 3rd, 4th, 5th round running back depending on your system. It's a passing league now, but you're talking about literally the best player on your team, because he is without a doubt the best player on the Colts.
Yes.
And your owner is basically shitting on you and saying if you left right now, nobody would care. Like who's gonna want to play for the Colts? Like the Colts may only win one game this year, bro. Like they may only win one game if that.
Yeah, why would any player on that roster look up and say, "Well, I'm going to go out and work hard today"? Like I'd be requesting trades. I'd be like, "Get me out! Look at my agent. Get me out." I don't know. Do I have to go suck and get cut from camp to go get I'll sacrifice and go get an opportunity somewhere. Somebody.
John, you there?
Okay, there we go.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, what do I got to do? Essentially, is what it is. So,
yeah,
go ahead, John.
The one good thing unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but the players are gonna do their best because it's on tape, and everybody's gonna see it, and for them to have other opportunities, they got to show out their best, regardless. You know what I'm saying? Like Herm Edwards, you saying you play to win the game. So the players are always gonna play hard. I mean, the coaches, I'm sure, are gonna coach, the best they can, but in the back of your mind, you're always going to remember, yeah, my owner don't give 2 fucks about me. You know what I'm saying? So as far as free agency and anything like that, like let them get the first pick. I mean, they're not going to do it now because they just got Richardson, but let them get a first pick for a quarter. Somebody's going to pull an Eli Manning and be like, yeah, I don't want to go over there. You know what I'm saying? I would not be surprised by that. But yeah, he was definitely on something strong last night.
Just get rid of Snyder. Why does Irsay got to come in and be the jerk off essentially now?
I mean, he just seems like a complete idiot, bro. He just seems like one of those dudes.
But here's a question of the Taylor thing to both of you. If Taylor feels a little bit of something, tweaking his back, tweaking his hamstring.
Oh. I'm Lamar-ing all day long.
Yeah. He's not playing.
Yeah.
So which means you're going to get about 7 or 8 games out of him this year, because if he gets tackled the wrong way, he's going to say, "Oh, my back. Oh, I don't think I can play anymore. Yeah. I'm done." Right. So what Irsay is saying all this stuff, and the GM might have to go to him, who he has complete faith in, supposedly, and Chris Ballard, and say to him, "Hey, Jim, he wants to be traded. He's threatening to sit out. He's threatening not to play if he feels
like Chris Ballard has actual say. Who made all the moves last year? Brought in Jim Irsay. Jim Irsay. No, he's keeping Ballard around because Ballard's a yes man.
So I think these running backs, and you might hear this from Eckler during preseason. You might hear this from, other guys. I think Jonathan Taylor is basically saying, "You don't want to pay me? You don't want to trade me? My hamstring is bothering me. I think I tore something in my hamstring. I can't play. I'm sitting out for 6 weeks before I come back. And then the Colts are going to be 0-6. What's the best recipe for a rookie quarterback? A solid running game.
A solid running game. Yeah.
And he's not going to have that if Jonathan Taylor's not there. Who's the backup? Zach Moss? That's the guy that's going to play. Zach Moss.
That's wild, bro. I mean, and the saddest part, like we've been saying, the saddest part is that nobody is going to trade for him.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Because the value for running backs just isn't anywhere. And he's a great player, but he's coming off the injury.
What's his deal right now, though? It's still rookie, right?
This should be the 4th year because he came in the same
so
year.
It's still a rookie deal.
He's still on a rookie deal.
They don't have to promise him a contract.
Wait, he was a 2nd-round pick, right?
Yeah, I think it was a second.
So this is his last year. This is his last year.
So look, they don't have to promise him a contract. They could trade for him. He can come play for a new franchise. They don't have to trade for, or they don't have to give him a contract though afterwards.
No.
So here's what you do.
It would be a great pickup for elsewhere.
Look at every NFL team that's one piece away from Super Bowl trip, and that's the team that you can kind of connect the dots to. If Jonathan Taylor gets traded, that's where he's going. He'd be great in a Jets uniform. He'd be great in a Dolphins uniform. He'd be great in those Baltimore Ravens uniform, Pittsburgh. I mean, just go up and down the AFC and the NFC. And teams, NFC especially, any team if they get Jonathan Taylor in trade.
Yeah, you're talking about a top 5 back, and he's what 26. So he's still I guess in his prime because once he hits 28, he's too old as far as running backs are concerned.
Look what he did 2 years ago.
Right, right.
If you get that Jonathan Taylor,
right,
sign me up for it.
You put him on a contender, right? A contender. The Colts aren't contenders. They haven't been contenders for his whole career so far. You put him on a contender, that could use help in the run game. I guarantee you see that Jonathan Taylor from rookie year.
What if the Eagles were to trade for him?
Oh, come on, bro.
They already have Snoop and Penny and Gainwell and Scott and
I know. And then they say to Penny, "Look, Rashad, we just traded for Jonathan Taylor. We're gonna pay your contract out and see you later." It's not a big, huge contract. It's a very small contract.
What? How much is on Jonathan's last year? It can't be that much.
Ain't on.
So it's not that they'll be trading for as far as money. Any team who trades for him, but it's going to be what you got to give up.
Heaven forbid somebody like anybody in the NFC South that trades for him. Anybody in the NFC South that trades for him will win that division automatically. Outside of Atlanta.
This year, his base salary is $4 million, and his cap hit is $5 million.
That's nothing,
so
bro.
If you trade
that's what the Dolphins just offered Dalvin Cook, basically, was $4 million, which is why he hasn't signed yet.
Yeah. So here's what you do. You're an organization. You trade for him. You rip up his contract, and you say, okay, Jonathan, we're going to give you a 4-year deal at $42 million with incentives to make it higher and a guarantee of like $28 million. I think he would sign that the next day.
I wonder, Dolphins, we all know Dolphins are looking because they wanted Dalvin essentially as well, but they're always looking to bolster up their running game, especially with Tua. I think the Chiefs would be interested, of course, be able to pair that with Clyde on the downfall. Yesterday at camp, I apologize, guys. I said, Justin Ross was questionable. I watched Justin Ross yesterday. This is the number one coming into play at mid-year when he gets his reps, man. I apologize. Go draft him.
So let's just look at this, Tanner.
Yeah.
Justin Ross, Rashee Rice, Sky Moore. The Chiefs could have one of the better younger wide receiver cores in the NFL right now.
Let's just say that the things I saw of these guys, like there's a highlight out on it if you look it up. But yesterday at camp, Najee Johnson was covering, who's had a great camp, such a great camp. He's been looking good. He was on Justin Ross about 4 times, and Najee he shut down Sky, he shut down MBS, he shut down a couple guys in reps, but he got on Justin Ross, and Justin Ross made a quick hook, and Najee was about 15 yards the other way still, and it was. But he always had issues with Justin Ross. It was just every time he was lined up against Justin, it'd just be embarrassing. The only little fear. It doesn't sound like anything big. I didn't see on the injury report. Rice got rolled up on one of the plays. Didn't come back to practice, but I don't see any injury report on that. But I mean, Rice is so big. Ross looks like a freaking number one receiver. Sky Moore, you know, one of those quick guys, of course. His hands were looking good yesterday, his route running. Like, this is going to be interesting to watch.
Well, I mean, they're young, they're talented, and they're playing with a generational quarterback. So they're gonna play with all the confidence in the world because he's gonna give them so much confidence to just go out there and he's gonna get them the ball.
Everybody's
they're free to just do what they do. So
every Chiefs big wig media person is saying that Justin Ross is on the bubble, and it's like, what are you watching? Because you're not watching camp. So you're probably watching his injury from, you know, a couple of years ago, why he sat out last year. That's the only thing I can think of. Because after seeing yesterday and the mixes he was in, the formations, like he was with the ones a lot, he was with the twos, like, and he his hands are solid. Like MVS dropped a ball. Granted, he was double covered, but he had to come back for it, and he had the ball in his hand. Defense made a great play. But it's like those are game breaking plays to happen, and Justin Ross made a really nice catch as well. And I see Ross being potential number one coming into week 10.
Wasn't there a certain number? Wasn't there a number 15 that said he liked the way that Ross was playing in OTAs?
Yeah, there was a certain 15.
That's all that matters.
That guy said something that Justin Ross was he could ball out this year. He could be that number one.
I was all questionable about it because I told Ryan Larison this too. I was like, you know, be wary, you know, what's going on. Now that I got to see him in person, saw the highlights he's been doing, got to see him in full camp without having that injured leg or anything like that, or injured back or whatever it was. Like, this guy, his size is perfect. Like, this is a number one style receiver.
Yeah.
Which would be insane for Mahomes.
And right. Again, you put him with all that young talent on there. You know what I'm saying? You still got Kelsey there. You got the stable of young running backs as well. And again, playing with 15. But yeah, if he says that this guy looks good, I don't care what the hell the beat writers and them say. There's always a couple negative beat writers that covers every team. You know what I'm saying? There's always those couple that they always, you know, they always want to write the negative because, again, negativity sells and stuff. So they're always going to be that way, even if they don't believe it or have no idea what the hell is going on. But for him to look that good to where, you know, Patrick Mahomes says something about it and people are talking about he might be on the bubble, that's a bit, you know, come on now.
And the other thing, John, you remember going back to last year, what Mahomes said, we're just going to spread the ball around. Kelsey's the number one. We're going to spread the ball around. There's going to be no number one wide receiver, so to speak. This year, he's saying, I love Justin Ross. We've been clicking. We've been together well. I listen to that guy. If that guy's saying Justin Ross is going to be a factor, he's going to be a factor this year. So,
right, absolutely.
It's
scary to think that fucking guy is only going to get better, bro. He's only going to get – Patrick Mahomes is only going to get better. That's scary, bro.
If he gets a weapon like that, it's scary. We need Chris Jones back too, by the way. So expect him to return because – that interior defensive line, it's different.
I thought I saw something. I guess it was fake. I thought I saw something where he agreed to something yesterday. That I guess that didn't happen.
I haven't seen anything yet. I ain't worried. I'm still not worried about it.
No, the two big news items yesterday in NFL were the Jonathan Taylor thing, and Zeke was up in Foxborough visiting the Patriots yesterday.
Yeah.
Is that even a big thing?
No, well, it's one of the biggest things.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah,
guys, I wanted to go back to this Jonathan Taylor thing. I want to go more on the owner side of things. Does the NFL need to come in and do? I don't know what they can do, but like, do they need to go in and be like, you know, like, we can't be talking crap about our players. We can't be talking crap about our staff. Like, you got to be an owner. You're the one paying the salary. You can, you know, mention some things, but let's not go ham because we're drinking gin and juice on a Saturday night and just getting slammered, right? But like, like what does the NFL need to do about these owner situations? Because they continue to pop up. Irsay being a big one, but Ross down in Dolphin
Yes.
world, Jerry Jones in Dallas, who's saying there's gonna be repercussions for Zach Martin if he doesn't show up to camp. What are you gonna do? Cut him? Great, do it.
Right.
Because I
Yes,
guarantee somebody's
please.
gonna love that. So
So
what do we
here's
got
what
to do?
here's what the NFL needs to do. Okay, this running back talk is going to get completely out of control in the next week or two.
Mhm.
So I think Goodell needs to talk to Irsay and say, hey, listen, I know it's going to cost you a lot of money, but maybe you should sign this guy. He's one of our best players in the NFL. Just give him a contract. I know Irsay is going to say, no, we're not giving him a contract. But sometimes what he says and then 2 weeks later what he does or what happens are two totally different things. So I think the NFL needs to see one of these running backs.
I was about to say them Quaaludes, bro. Them Quaaludes just have you just doing saying all kinds of different stuff, different days. So
I wonder if somebody in the
organization
organization will just go to Jonathan Taylor and say, hey, Jonathan, here's a contract, 4 years, $50 million. Just sign it. Don't tell her, say, just sign it.
God, the scary thing is that is somebody going to give him a 4-year, 50-something million? I don't see that either. Like they just don't value the running backs anymore, man. And even though he's one of the better ones, again, he's coming off that injury. Like they're just not giving out those $12, $13 million a year contracts anymore, man.
Pure running backs in the NFL. Who is better than Jonathan Taylor? Nick Chubb.
Henry.
Nick Chubb. Derrick Henry. After that, I don't know if you can find anymore.
McCaffrey, right? We all know that one.
McCaffrey, Eckler, maybe, but Eckler's on the same level as him.
I think Eckler's better.
So he's fifth or sixth. Saquon. Yep. So he's about the 6th or 7th best running back in the NFL right now. Okay. So Saquon's making $11 million. I don't know what Chubb's contract. I don't know what these rest of these contracts are, but McCaffrey's $16 million, obviously. Derrick Henry, $16 million, somewhere in that area. So you need to pay him around $10 million a year. That's what you need to pay him.
Second time I've been weirded out by StreamYard. I feel like Keith Engel and TGI Sports and his Spectrum debacle right now. Lord of mercy. Do you think Irsay is like that guy in Dewey Cox, the Heart Walk Hard, where he's like, cocaine's a hell of a drug, it makes people crazy. You don't want to try this, Jim. You don't want to try this, Jim. And Jim's like, oh, I think I do. And he walks in.
Who was the guy he signed years ago for the Colts? Or was it a draft pick where you get on the phone? It was a draft pick. You get on the phone and said, yeah, dude, can't wait to see you. He was talking like he was back in the 60s. Yeah, dude, we can't wait to see you. We're something big's going on up here. Can't wait to have you, man. And he kept using man and dude and all these other. What owner
trying to be cool? He trying to be cool.
Yeah,
he's trying to be cool and hip with the players and just right.
Does he wear those loafers without the socks and the Tommy Bahama shirts in the office and stuff like that, and go in and have a couple of whiskeys?
He's the guy that walks in with Crocs with socks and capris up to his knees. Just a cut off shirt, dude.
He said Crocs with socks. Is that really a thing?
Apparently, I don't know. I don't wear Crocs, so.
But
I got tennis shoes and I got these Hey Dudes. They're pretty comfortable, but apparently you're not supposed to wear socks with those. So,
like you just went to the Royals, Tanner. Who's gonna go play in Indianapolis now?
Who wants to?
No, man.
If your owner's acting like that and being like this about one of your guys on your team,
the best player on your team.
These guys are family for 6, 7, 8 months of the year, and you're gonna trash on one of their family on one of their family members.
Right, exactly, and that's just the thing. And Jonathan Taylor is a top 10 player in his position, and you're just gonna say to him, this is his last year of his contract. You basically saying to him, walk out the door. We're not gonna. Who cares? We'll fill your position.
Keep going. I gotta let the dog out real quick. Keep going.
Okay.
The crazy thing about that too, Scott, is like what Tanner was saying. There's nothing the NFL can do, unfortunately, because the owners are the owners. You know what I mean? Because like Tanner mentioned, I got to deal with this knucklehead down here in Miami with Stephen Ross, and I wish the NFL had some type of power to be able to do something to these owners besides punishing the organization and the team by taking draft picks and stuff, because you're gonna fine them $1 million, $2 million. I mean, they have that in their ashtrays.
Yeah.
So that's not like that's affecting them. You know what I'm saying? But you can't Yeah, you can't like really do. You know what I'm saying? Like, unfortunately, the owners are the owners, so they can do, unfortunately, whatever the hell they want. So there's not really much the NFL I think can do.
The draft pick situation was a pretty big deal for you guys,
Right? But
year.
again, then you're hurting. You're hurting
Yeah.
the actual team and the coach. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's
Irsay don't give two
that's
shits
back
if he
up
don't.
top.
Got, yeah, but he don't give two shits if he ain't got a draft pick. That's
Yeah,
less money
I
he
mean,
got to pay. That's
regardless.
less money he got to pay.
I mean, let's look at the solid teams in the NFL: the Kansas Cities, the New Englands.
Pittsburgh.
How many holdouts do these teams have in the last 10 years? These owners take care of these guys. They say, okay, we're going to take Kraft, takes care of his guys. Hunt in Kansas City takes care of his guys.
Mhm.
The teams that the owners take care of their guys, these players want to go play for in free agency.
Yep.
That's why you see Zeke taking a trip to New England. That's why you see Fournette taking a trip to New England. That's why you see Kansas City mentioned with all these guys, because they take care of their guys. Teams like Indianapolis, Washington, Dallas now. They allow these guys to hold out, and they allow these guys to say, okay, go hold out. You're not going to get your money. Do what you want. We'll find you. You come into camp 2 weeks after. I mean, it just doesn't work. It's not a good look to have a superstar in the NFL say, I'm out. See you later. Josh Jacobs, another guy. It's not a good look for the NFL.
Led the league in rushing last year.
And he got on a plane the first day of training camp, and he went home.
You lose your quarterback.
Right.
You still
Yes.
Devontae Adams there.
Yep.
You're not going to sign your best offensive player last year.
And Josh Jacobs did the smartest thing.
Yeah,
He
leave.
He did not sign the franchise tag, so he will not get
Right.
fined. He did the smartest thing. He took off and
Right.
left.
Right.
It's the best idea.
And we touched a little bit on it, the other night when we mentioned we were talking about the Saquon Barkley signing. Like he almost did the worst possible thing you can do by signing that 1-year deal, because now they still got 2 years where they can franchise tag you. Yeah. So he was almost better off just dealing with the franchise tag and knowing, okay, they can only do this one more time, but you help them out.
Yeah,
by signing that 1-year deal, it just has $900,000 in incentives. Like, you better put $3, $4, $5 million of incentives in that for me to sign it. Otherwise, I'll just sign a franchise tag and then you got 1 more year.
All it takes is an injury, right?
That's what I'm saying.
You're not getting any more money.
That's wild, bro.
It's
wild. It's sad, man, because I miss the, what I'm saying, I love the passing game and stuff like that, but I like seeing people run the ball. I love seeing Chubb and all these guys run the rock. Derrick Henry
got a 50-yard run,
and
through the tackles.
Like, especially like his rookie year was just like I was damning Brian Flores for taking Noah Igbenogany when you had Jonathan Taylor available there, and he's running all over the place in Indianapolis. So yeah, I love seeing good running backs, play ball, but this league is just, I mean, it's a passing league, like I said, and they know that they can get they can do the whole stable of running backs thing, so they're not worried about having that one main guy. But my thing is, when you do have that special type, Saquon or Christian McCaffrey, Cook, Jonathan Taylor, those guys, they should be exceptions to the rule. But I guess it depends on what franchise you're on.
Yes, the devaluation of the running back position. That's exactly what it is. How many bell cow running backs do you have in the NFL right now? 4.
It's probably 5 or 6. Yeah, maybe 5 or 6. Right.
Henry,
So
Taylor.
Right. Yeah. So why aren't at least those 5 or 6 like really getting paid?
Yeah, they should. Which they should, and they'll get. I think they'll get paid elsewhere if they have to leave. So, and look, I mean, again, look at the defending champs right now. You got Pacheco. Pacheco's on, kind of in and out. There he has the yellow jersey on, so he doesn't get hit, essentially. But I mean, Chiefs also like to line up running backs, right? Mm-hmm. We had Priest Holmes, Larry Johnson, Jamal Charles, a couple guys that broke out as well. And now you got Deneric Prince, by the way, Prince working in a 2 running back scheme formation right now.
Watch out
with
for
guys.
See, the thing about that is,
let them in.
You have 15 on that team. You know what I'm saying? So you don't need that stud running back because you got a great quarterback. Now I know these quarterbacks are making $40-something million a year, but that don't mean that they're great quarterbacks. That just means that they were free agents at the right time. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's unfortunate that the quarterback salary is taking up so much of the cap that the running back is the one that are getting punished for it.
Well,
but there's nothing that can be done until the next CBA, and it's not, the players aren't going to be willing to sacrifice a season or half a season or anything like that by holding out.
They're going
to try to make changes. So I mean, they're going to try, but ultimately the owners seem to get what they want, man. They wanted that 17th game. They're going to want that 18th game soon. So I don't know, man. I feel bad for the running backs.
Here's the one Patrick Mahomes comp that I can listen to all day. Patrick Mahomes is like Tom Brady. Remember Tom Brady made that receiving core he had every year better? Mm-hmm. Patrick Mahomes makes every receiving core he has better.
Right.
Like Tom Brady. That comp with Mahomes I can listen to all
Aaron
day.
Rodgers.
Yeah, I was about to say Aaron Rodgers too, yeah.
There's only a select few that you could say in the last 15, 20, 25 years that do that. Brady, Mahomes, Rodgers. Yeah. Those three guys. So everybody says, the receiving core of Kansas City. I don't know how Patrick Mahomes is going to do it. He'll find a way to do it.
He's Patrick fucking Mahomes, bro.
Yeah,
Patrick fucking Mahomes. That's how he's going to do it.
You lost Juju. You lost Tony. And you had MVS. You had Smith Smith Merced from Minnesota that you picked up 3 weeks ago. You had Cornell Powell out there, Marcus Kemp, and you still be able to complete passes and put this in the guys' hands.
You got Patrick Mahomes, and you got one of the greatest minds. Exactly, you got one of the greatest offensive minds ever in Andy Reid. He'll scheme something up, and
now you got Matt Nagy with it. Right. Now you got Matt Nagy as your OC. Yeah. It's cheating.
So Andy Reid and Matt Nagy say to Mahomes, "Here you go, Pat. Here's your wide receivers. Great, great, okay. Fine with me. Right. I got Kelsey. I got 87. I'll find another guy. Boom."
Yeah. I think Mahomes, all he asked for really is like, hey, give me, show me you're wanting to play here, wanting the opportunity. Look at Mikol. Mikol never worked out with Mahomes. And it was always an issue going into camp. There was always chemistry issues. There was also timing issues during the season, especially the first 5 weeks of Mikol right there, because Mikol wouldn't come work out with Mahomes. And Mahomes was like, I'm not going to work out with you because I got everybody else here. So, it's what it came out to be. So now you saw him didn't get his contract extension. He's with the Jets now, which I think he'll be really good there, actually. Really secretly good.
You're playing with Aaron Rodgers, and he wants a contract. He wants a contract, so he's gonna be on his best behavior. He's gonna do everything possible, right?
He did come back. He did show a little heart, which is awesome to see. Last year, he came after his injury. He came back in the I think it was the title game or the game before that. The playoff game before that, but he came in knowing he was hurt, banged up, but he fought to be out there, ended up getting even more hurt on his body there, and ended up missing the rest of the season with the two games there. But it's showing stuff like that goes a long ways, and that's stuff we haven't seen from Mikol. That's stuff we haven't seen from certain guys. Brian Pringle, right now signing with the Commanders to go reunite with his boy Bieniemy. Again, Brian Pringle, we thought he would be something with the Bears after the Mahomes season there in the Chiefs. Wasn't anything. Demarcus Robinson, who caught a bunch of touchdowns and also ran backwards for the Chiefs a lot. But, we thought he'd be something special there after Mahomes made him going to the Ravens. We never heard from him really again. So it's like certain guys, it's the same thing for Packers. We can go through the list of the Packers receivers doing the same damn thing. It's like these guys outside of Devontae, you don't, and Tyreek Hill, you don't hear from again.
Right, because they think they're better than what they were because they were successful with a great quarterback.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So their heads get big and they think, oh, well, I'm great. Well, you're being helped out a lot. You know what I mean? Because you mentioned, Scott, quarterbacks like that can make average guys look good guys look great guys into Hall of Fame type guys, and then Hall of Famers into generational type players like a Kelsey, Tyreek. You know what I'm saying? So now he's playing with some good young talent. He's only going to make them look that much better.
Effort and heart. It's all you need from those guys.
Mm-hmm. And here's the other thing. What'd you hear about Hardman going into last year? It's Tyreek's replacement. McCall Hardman's no. When? Where? What has he done in his NFL career to say he's the Tyreek Hill replacement? Yes, he's going to get those end around. Yes, he's got speed like Tyreek. Okay, I'll give you that.
Route running.
But he's not a receiver. Yeah.
Right.
So
Witt had an emergency here, so he's not gonna be able to join us. We'll catch him on Thursday Thursday evening on the second half of the show after our AFC. What are we doing? AFC South, right?
South.
Might as well get it out the way, especially with the
yeah, right. I mean, this will be fun now. This will be really fun. Hopefully, Rios is he'll confirm with me tomorrow, but I'm planning them in. Guys, Johnny, do you have a cruising top 5 today?
Yep, I do have a cruising top 5.
Let's go and make that cruising top 5.
All right, let's bring out that cruising top 5, and the top 5 for this week. I'm a little inspired by last night's fight, so my cruising top 5 is. Oh man, I didn't save it. I'm gonna edit it right now.
You going the all-time wrestlers?
No. My apologies, people. This is what happens when it's 9 o'clock in the morning.
Hey man, it's morning time.
All right, well, I'm going with the all-time favorite boxers to watch. Now, this doesn't mean these are the greatest boxers or my top 5 best boxers, but these guys were just a lot of fun to watch these guys fight. My number 5, I'm going with Arturo Gatti. If you ever watched him, he was I'm standing in the middle of the ring, and we're going to go toe to toe. So if you have an opportunity, Google Arturo Gatti against Mickey Ward. They had 3 epic fights, and he didn't win all of them. I got his record right here because he's got several losses. But again, this isn't about the best. He was 40-9, 31 KOs, but he was toe to toe, and that's what I like. I like to see guys that are just in the middle of the ring fighting as hard as possible. My number 4 is George Foreman, but I'm talking about the older bald head George Foreman when he had the defense where he put his arms in front of him. That was just a lot of fun. The whole story of him being an older fighter, coming back and actually winning. Like these fights were crazy. Like he was getting pounded and he just refused to go down. But Arturo Gatti was a lot of fun to watch. So he was my number 5. George Foreman, the second George Foreman, because I didn't watch him obviously when he was younger. When he lost to Muhammad Ali and stuff. But when he came back for that second stint, actually beat Michael Moore to win the heavyweight title, which a lot of people said that, he might have took a dive there, but I don't know about that. But he was a lot of fun to watch, so that's 4. Number 3 is the Pac-Man. Manny Pacquiao was so much fun to fight. I so wish that Floyd – that's the one thing we talked about it on Thursday about the whole promotions and stuff like that, and all of that gets in the way of having – phenomenal fighters actually fight each other. That's why last night was actually a lot of fun. These guys really want, they're at the top of their game, and they wanted that fight to happen, so they made sure that fight happened, and we got entertained with it was a one-sided dominant fight for Crawford, but 2 of the best fighters in the world actually fighting in there, you know what I'm saying, at the right time, not Floyd Mayweather fighting Manny Pacquiao, 5 years too late when Manny's already old. But Manny was a lot of fun to watch. So I got Manny at number 3 as far as, favorite boxers to watch. Number 2, I got Roy Jones Jr. Mm-hmm. If you didn't watch Roy Jones in his prime, and I'm not talking about, the mid to late 2000s when he started fighting heavyweights and stuff like that or whatever. When he was a middleweight and a light heavyweight, he was phenomenal, bro. Like he was so much fun. His combinations, his counter punching was ridiculous. So I got Roy Jones Jr. at number 1, and number 2, and number 1 for me is none other than Iron Mike Tyson. He was, he was just phenomenal to watch. He was so much fun, just destroying people when he was coming up. And that was my teenage years, so I was really into boxing back then. I remember being a 10 or 11-year-old kid, crying my eyes out when he got knocked the hell out by Buster Douglas in Tokyo. It was wild, but Mike Tyson was so much fun to watch. I mean, the whole spew coming in with nothing on but the shorts and the black shorts, the black shoes with no socks, just eyeing the guy. I mean, most of the time the opponent they lost before the fight even started because they were all scared of Mike Tyson. So if you get to for the younger generation out there, look up some clips of Iron Mike in his younger days, and he was putting people to sleep.
He's still
something fierce, and his head movement. I mean, when he had Was it Mickey Rooney that was with him? Yeah, it was Rooney. It was Rooney and
yeah, it was.
Yeah, and then the old man that took him in, wound up passing away once he, once he got the title, whatever. And then Don King got his, talking about promoters, Don King got his claws into Mike Tyson, and then it all went south from there. But his head movement and his style when he first started was a lot of fun to watch. And he was only 5'8", 5'9" or whatever, so he was always fighting bigger guys. But he was just so much fun to watch. So this is my cruising top 5 favorite all-time favorite boxers to watch. Again, these are not the greatest fighters ever. I'll have a top 5 greatest fighters of all time. That's a separate list, but this is just my favorite boxers to watch, because that fight, like Crawford, is creeping into this list. His counter punching ability is just ridiculous, bro. His last 2 fights, what he did to these 2 guys was awesome. He's a lot of fun to watch. Bernard Hopkins was a lot of fun to watch. There's a lot of guys that were a lot of fun to watch. You know what I'm saying? But these right here, were my favorite. Thinking about it last night and then early this morning, I was like, yeah, these guys were so much fun to watch. So at 5, I got Arturo Gatti. And like I said, if you get an opportunity, watch what Tanner threw it up there for a second. Watch those fights with Mickey Ward. They were awesome. George Foreman, ballhead George Foreman, when he came back, big fat George Foreman, when he came back his second time, he was a lot of fun. Wound up winning a title. Manny Pacquiao, in that 5 or 6 year span that he had, right? You know what I'm saying, where Floyd was not trying to have any of that. He was extremely exciting and fun to watch. Roy Jones Jr. is one of the greatest fighters. Most of these guys are in the Hall of Fame, or going to be in the Hall. If they're not already, they're going to be in the Hall of Fame of boxing anyway. But Roy Jones was a bad boy. He was a lot of fun to fight. I mean, there's some of the fights where he was fighting some top guys, Tony and all these guys. He was fighting top guys, and you can see he was playing with a lot of these guys. Mm-hmm. So he was a step ahead. I mean, I think he did one crazy thing where he boxed and he went and played a basketball game that same day or whatever, just to show his athletic ability. It was crazy, bro. But he was so much fun to watch.
Do that. Yeah, I get it's just insane. Right.
And I mean, it was borderline disrespectful, but you know what? He was that good at the time to where his opponent had no chance anyway. So yeah, he's my number 2, and then Iron Mike Tyson, number 1 favorite all-time boxer to watch.
Out here, there was a TikTok, I think a TikTok or a tweet or X, whatever you want to call it now, of somebody described like Mike Tyson was sitting in the front row and he was just rubbing his knee like this, like he had a invisible dog or something is what they said. Like Mike Tyson out here rubbing, petting invisible dogs on his lap when there's nothing there. It's like I'm not to say anything to that guy.
Yeah, and that's why,
you want, dude.
Right. And for all those people that say, "Oh, well, yeah, I'll take a punch from Mike Tyson," no, bro.
No, you won't. No, you won't.
It costs you most of that money to reconstruct your face if you wind up surviving that, bro.
Exactly.
He was insane. So yeah, for you younger people, check out Mike Tyson when he was in his prime, when he was coming up, and he won his first. He was the youngest ever to be heavyweight champion at 19, 20 years old. Check out those highlights. He was destroying people.
Yeah.
So that's my cruising top 5. These are my all-time favorite boxers to watch.
That's a
Again,
good
not the greatest guys, not the best, but these guys were a lot of fun to watch. These 5. So check them out.
Good one. I like that. Scott, what's your appraisal of this list?
I like the list. And the guys that I grew up on that I watched were the Sugar Ray Leonards, Thomas Hearns, Marvin Haglers.
Yeah.
We had, even Butterbean, who was very entertaining to watch, even though he wasn't successful. Floyd Money Mayweather was the entertainment machine over and over again. His press conferences were great. His fights, I wouldn't say were as great as his press conferences.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's my thing. I mean, we could have a top 5 all time,
no doubt,
promoting your own fight type guys. Yeah, absolutely. But as far as actually in the ring entertaining, man, he didn't. You know what I'm saying? He was a defensive fighter, probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest defensive boxer ever in Floyd. But that wasn't entertaining to me. You know what I'm saying? He throws his 2 punches and he's wanting to be chased so that he can counter, and you know what I'm saying, like. Nah, I mean, as far as entertainment, and fun to watch. Nah, I mean, I give
Yeah.
Floyd all his respect, but yeah, he ain't making my top 5 as far as
And
favorites.
I didn't see Ali in his prime, and I didn't see George Foreman.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't see right.
Leon
Now,
Spinks in his prime.
I caught the end of Sugar Ray and Marvin Hagler and all those guys, but like when I really got into boxing was in my teen years, and these guys were more the guys that were there at that time, so they were just so much fun to watch. But yeah, Sugar Ray, Roberto Duran fight was insane. The Hagler Hearns, that 3-round insanity, or however many rounds it was, because it wasn't many rounds, but they were just trying to kill each other for those first couple rounds or whatever. Those are great fights. I always lean towards the middleweights and stuff like that, because they seem to be more action in those. The heavyweights would throw a couple punches, be tired, and be hugging for the rest of the round, except for people like a Mike Tyson and guys like that. Evander Holyfield was a really good, fun fighter to watch. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot. I mean, unfortunately, boxing isn't what it used to be. And again, it's a lot more about the promoters and stuff like that. Too many belts, too many divisions and stuff like that. So I would hope at some point in time somebody would pull a Dana White type thing and just kind of be in control of all of boxing. And I think that would actually be able to correct it a little bit, man, because the art of boxing is really fun to watch. And I'm digging the MMA and UFC and stuff like that. And I'm glad that talking to Nick, I've gotten back into it. Because I enjoyed it when I was a kid when it first came out. I know they're celebrating their 30th anniversary of the UFC. So I remember in 93 and stuff like that when Royce Gracie and all of them back then, but it wasn't as entertaining as it is now, the UFC.
I think if you
as far as 30 years ago. So
if you want to go back and watch a fight, I would say the Sugar Ray Leonard Hagler fight was probably the one you want to watch. Two different styles of guys. Everybody thought Sugar Ray's career was over. He was never going to fight again. He came back in, went the distance against Marvin Hagler, who was probably one of the better fighters of that generation, and he beat him. And nobody expected him to beat him. So that would be a fight. And the Hearns Hagler 3 rounds was amazing. It was amazing.
It's a blur, man. But it
was at its zenith in those days. So
Hey guys, as before our final thoughts here, check this out. Dalvin Cook appearing at the New York Jets training camp today. Out there.
He's gonna sign with the Jets.
Is that today or was that the other day?
It's nearing. We're getting there.
That's today. He's been in New York all weekend, Johnny. So he was on.
Oh, he stood up there all weekend.
He was on Good Morning Football on Friday. He was on
where he said it was his dream. It would be a dream come true to play for the Dolphins.
Yep.
He's going to
play against the Dolphins.
I mean, it's
what tends to happen with these guys, not with Zeke and Fournette. Once they get in the building, they ain't getting out without a contract.
That was
I think the Good Morning Football, was his final attempt. That was his say anything with the radio moment to the Dolphins, like, hey, if you're gonna sign me, make it happen now. But hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, now we'll have to just deal with him. Then you add that to the Jalen Ramsey news. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens. But I think we got enough in the running back room to be okay. I love Mike McDaniel's mind and his offensive genius. He's going into his second year, so he's only going to be better this year. But when you got an opportunity to add a Dalvin Cook, like we talked about it with the whole baseball thing, if you're going to go all in. Don't be half-assed. You know what I'm saying? So if you're putting all your chips in the middle of the table, don't keep a couple chips to the side. Nah, man, just get Dalvin Cook if you got the opportunity. So we'll see what happens here. Hopefully, it doesn't come back to literally bite us and the Jets wind up taking us because of what Dalvin Cook winds up breaking a 60-something yard run against us, to win the division. That would be salt on the wound.
And the tweet he put out the other day was basically saying to the Dolphins, "Don't let me go to New York because I'm going to sign him." And the play he put on that tweet was the long run he had against the Dolphins for a touchdown last year.
Right.
So he's basically saying to the Dolphins, you had your chance to sign me. You didn't sign me. Now I'm going to New York. I'm signing with them. I'm going to come back and cause havoc. The question is,
well, I mean, if they again, he was on good. I mean, if Chris Greer called him and said, "Hey, we'll match whatever the Jets are offering you," he would come back home. He would come back and play.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So ultimately, it's that. But
they're not going
to. They don't seem willing to do that. But hey, know what I'm saying? And I know Dolphin fans, because anytime anybody is up for trade or whatever, so you got a bunch of Dolphin fans saying, "Oh, Jonathan Taylor." Calm down, bro. You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't sign Dalvin Cook for just money. You think we're going to give up assets to get Jonathan Taylor? So just get that out of your heads. We got our running back room. And let's just hope we can keep number one on his feet for 17 games, and I think we'll be okay.
So here's my question: what's the deal with Breece Hall now? Is he slow in recovery? Is he coming back?
Well, now they can take their time, bro. Now they can take their time, and you got talk about a two-headed monster.
You don't have to rush him out like JK was.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you take your time, because Breece is, dude, he's special.
He's gonna be good. Like once, like if you give him a year where he doesn't have to take the full workload right away again,
right?
Like
just he's gonna be that much better next year. Yep.
Yeah.
So. And watch the betting markets now. If Cook signs with the Jets are going way up.
Yeah.
Way up.
I think with Dalvin Cook there, I think they win the division, bro. I think that'll give them just enough to get that extra game or two to put them at the top of the division. I mean, I still think we can compete with them all around, but Dalvin Cook, you know what I'm saying? People are sleeping on, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's amazing how people love to shit. Like, Dalvin Cook is a great player.
Yeah, he is.
You know, so
and what's the if he signs today, what's going to be the thing? Watch out, Chiefs fans. Here come the Jets.
Yeah, wait. Here we go.
Yep. Here we go, Chiefs. Watch out.
It's gonna be fun. And then you got this whole Joe Burrow. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know, we're about to get off or whatever, but hopefully Joe Burrow is healthy. Like, you know what I'm saying? I hate these injuries and stuff like that, man. So hopefully people come back healthy and we don't see no more injuries and stuff. That was actually gonna be part of my final. I mentioned it a little bit on Thursday, but hopefully everybody stays healthy, man. I want to see the best players play, man.
Yep. Guys, we'll do our final thoughts here before we get out of here. Johnny, we'll start with you. Go ahead.
All right. I just want to, on that note about staying healthy, I want to give a shout out to the man himself, Mr. Dan Harris. Hasn't been feeling great. Much love, prayers, positive energy, all that stuff sent to you, Dan. Hope you feel better. Can't wait to talk to you again and on a show. I mean, we talk, but can't wait to do a show with you again. Feel better. We'll keep trying to do a thing. Shout out to Mr. First Down or Mrs. First Down and his family. Hopefully everybody's all right and we're good there. I know he's probably chasing around the twins right now, so hopefully he hasn't pulled all his hair out.
Of his beard.
And shout out to Nick. Have a good time. Always a good time on these shows. I love being on here with you guys. Look forward to it. We'll have another Cruising Top 5 next Sunday. But the return of my regular work schedule starts tomorrow. Dan said that's enough of you taking a month to move. So the Johnny Cruz show will be back tomorrow night, 8 p.m. I'm actually flying solo tomorrow, so I'm gonna be talking about a little bit of everything. I will possibly talk on the whole movies that's going on right now. I'm not gonna mention it right now, but it was a movie we were talking about before the show. So there's gonna be a lot of different stuff on the Johnny Cruz show tomorrow night at 8 p.m. And then Tuesday I'll be on Let's Talk New York Yankees with hopefully Dan and Rob Logan. And then it's still also the return of Let's Talk Miami Dolphins with me and my boy Alex. We'll be on Tuesday, 8 p.m. So definitely check that out. And then we got a special Scott Cobe show, but I will let Scott talk about that. And of course, we got all our LTS shows next week where we'll be talking about we got the Jim and Jonathan tomorrow. And then Thursday, we'll be talking about the crappy AFC South. Sorry, Sam, but it's facts.
I like it. Scott, what do you got?
First of all, I piggyback on Johnny. Shout out to Dan. Hopefully he's feeling better. I got a chance to talk to him for a few minutes yesterday through DM, and he's struggling right now, he said. So feel better, Dan. Come back on soon, as soon as you can. Wednesday night, Scott Cobe Show returns out of mothballs. Special guest Jim Coventry from rotowire.com. Nice. We'll be talking fantasy football. Jim is a very knowledgeable guy. He watches tapes. He's on the rotowire.com YouTube channel every day at 11 a.m. talking fantasy. So nice. It will be a special show. Johnny will be there. I'll be there. Tanner will be there if you get the chance, and Nick will be there as well. So nice. I wanted to get the Sunday morning NFL show onto that show to talk to Jim all fantasy all the time for pretty close to 45 minutes or so. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun. And I'm trying to get another fantasy person onto the show as well in a couple of weeks right before the season starts, because that'll be the time. And as Tanner said, drafts are starting. Football's in full swing here.
Yes, it is.
Best time of the year when training camp starts in my mind. So Christmas in July and August has come. And enjoy it. Enjoy the ride. And be watching us. We'll be on, Wednesday nights, Monday nights, Thursday nights, Sundays. So
that's right. Oh, Scott, did you forget something?
Every show.
Oh, excuse me. The baseball show. Sorry, Alan. The baseball show on Tuesday is a trade deadline special where I don't know how many trades are going to happen on Tuesday. I think most of them happened already. So at 4 p.m. Eastern, we will take the air. Myself, Jonathan Grishman, and Alan will take the air, and we'll talk about all the trades and the ripple effects through it. And Jonathan's a great guy to have on the show. He's knowledgeable. If you don't watch him Monday nights, watch it Tuesdays. But you should be watching Monday nights because Jonathan's great. And Jim Behringer is great as well.
Yeah.
And hockey season will be starting soon, too. So I'm sure Jim's ramping up as well. So
it's that time, man.
That at all. Not far from that at all.
No, it's awesome. Great time of year, man. You're going to have a hard time at your arbitration talks there, Scott, when you try to renew for that baseball
Alan's going to hold it against me. I don't want Alan as my lawyer for the arbitration talks with Dan Harris. So
it's
the
good.
left-handed producer, as a matter of fact. That's what we call him now. So.
There you go. Guys, lots of things happening here. Obviously, you see some adjustments here on the layout. Trying to see what I can do with StreamYard and everything else, but get ramping up here. We got NFL season coming up here. Enjoyed these Sunday chats here as well. Let's talk sports. Doing big things. I got fantasy football after dark starting Tuesday night. Usually after 9 p.m. Central, between 9 and 10. Normally, so just make sure you guys hit the bell, subscribe, and follow there. You'll see it on my Twitter. So excited there. And basically last year is kind of the same thing where, I'll do some mock drafts, we'll do some best balls, but it's a show designed to chat with you, to throw stuff off the wall, throw stuff back and forth in the comments, stuff like that. Just chat about fantasy football. Maybe you're concerned about a player. Then we pause the draft and we go look it up and we go see what history, we can go see what's going on. Like, it's designed just to have some fun, get ready for our big drafts that are happening next month as we go about stuff. So, that's kind of what it is. So like an hour or so of mock drafts, 30 minutes to an hour, depending what's going on, but it'll be every night in August and I'm excited for it. So, as well as the Buffoons, we got great things on the Buffoons happening. I went to training camp yesterday with Mike. We got to go in a suite, got kicked out during a rainstorm because there's such a disaster of their safety protocols there at Northwestern. But, next Saturday we'll be out in the heat. Standing outside of the suite this time because we don't have a suite, but JG's with us this time around. Excited to see some more Ross action there as well. And then but we got stuff going on the Buffoons channel too. Mike's going to be ramping up some shows here as well, and there's a lot more to come. So tune in, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, make sure you follow. Because there's tons of stuff coming. Rec Room guys, I'll be back with them we'll record on Tuesday night. You'll see that show Wednesday morning. There's a bunch of updates happening. So just be ready because there's some good stuff coming. Anyways, guys, please make sure you like, subscribe, follow. Appreciate everybody's support. Alan, appreciate you in the comments. Always appreciate everybody commenting in anytime. So everybody have a fabulous Sunday. We'll talk to you tomorrow night with Jim and Jonathan and the show. See you guys.
One life, better pop off. What do you like? Make a dream job. No 9-5, no mean boss. Just my life and free thoughts. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try to change, you can say no.